Hey guys, it's Josh Holiday here. I'm the founder of Mind Launch, a globally recognized organization that helps people overcome their anxiety and master their mindset by shifting consciousness. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a masterclass in anxiety transformation. So let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Today, we're going to be going through an anxiety transformation masterclass. And I'm really going to teach you how to control your stress and your anxiety and your thoughts by mastering your mindset and shifting your consciousness without feeling like a failure because you've tried everything and nothing seems to work. Now, if you are like so many others that I talk to, you probably have tried a million different things to overcome your anxiety and nothing has worked, right? You maybe have tried medication, you've tried therapy, you've probably maybe even tried the healthy lifestyle, you've read all the books, you've watched YouTube videos, you've been inundated with information about what to do to overcome your anxiety, and nothing works and you still have it, right? If that's you, I promise you, in this masterclass, I'm going to lay out everything that you need to know, plain and simple, no bullshit. So let's get stuck into it. If you are a stressed out, anxious, or frustrated business professional, leader, or entrepreneur, then congratulations, because this masterclass could be the most important video that you watch in your life. And I honestly believe that. I have a lot of people who come to work with me after their life has imploded, and maybe that's you as well. Maybe your life has already gone to shit, and to say it bluntly, and now you want to get your life back on track. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're getting to you before that happens. But quite frankly, I do see that a lot. People have their life just implode because of their stress and their anxiety and their emotional issues that they haven't been able to control. And so everything just goes kaput, right? We really want to get to you before that happens, obviously. But in any case, this could be the most important video you watch, because it's either A, you're going to avoid that disaster happening, or B, that's already happened and you're going to get back on track. So again, what I want you to do through this video is really focus. If you're an online troll or someone who is just going to be negative and play the victim card, then please just close this window and leave this page now. This is not for people who just want to play that victim card or troll or be negative. I really don't have time or space for people who are just going to be negative. But if you are going to stay and watch the video, then make sure you focus. So set an intention now in your mind that for the next 30 minutes or so, you are going to focus on this, okay? You're going to focus and you're going to watch this and even take notes, right? Imagine that you have spent $1,000 to be here. You've just dropped $1,000 and now you have access to this masterclass, because this is honestly going to be worth at least $1,000, right? I usually charge at least $1,000 an hour for my time. And so you're going to be spending anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how many rants I go on during this video with me right now. And if you focus and listen and pay attention, you're going to get so much out of this. It's really going to be an absolute game changer for you. And you will be able to learn what you need to know to transform your anxiety, master your mindset, and shift into a higher state of consciousness once and for all. This will help you launch into a life without the limits of stress and anxiety, so you can finally achieve the happiness, the success, and the inner peace that you know in your heart is possible by shifting your consciousness. So again, before we move on to the next slide, just be present. I don't really care if you have this thing in your head where you say, oh, I've got anxiety, so I can't think properly. I can't think straight. I can't pay attention. I've got ADHD, all of this kind of stuff. Focus. 30 minutes. You can do it, right? Just sit here, put your phone away, turn it off right now, put it on airplane mode, hide it under a book, get a journal, sit down, get a pen, take notes. You can do this. And if you do, again, this could be the most important video you watch in your entire life. So a quick intro. My name's Josh Holiday. I'm the founder of Mind Launch. 15 years ago, I used to self-medicate my way out of anxiety, and I did that mainly by drinking alcohol and smoking weed and doing anything else that I could to escape myself and what I was feeling. I just tried everything to distract myself. Lots of drinking, lots of smoking. I did a lot of traveling as well. Could never hold down a job, and I was just all over the place, right? I didn't want to go on medication though, because there's a history of addiction in my family, right? And so again, that was an issue with the alcohol and the smoking and all those kinds of things. To put it simply, I just didn't know what I was doing, right? I was a young kid in my late teens, early 20s, very anxious, very unsure of, myself. And to be quite frank, I was scared of my own mind. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to manage my mind and my mental health. I had no clear guidance, right? And I had to find my own way. And over the last 15 years, that's exactly what I have done, right? And today I'm going to be sharing everything that I've learned with you, right? Everything that's important that I've learned that you need to know if you want to transform your anxiety is in this masterclass. And one of the most important lessons that I've learned along the way is commitment, right? I needed to commit to being a better version of myself. And you need to commit to watching this video, right? So buckle up and make the decision to focus for the next 20 minutes or so. I won't disappoint you, I promise. If you give me your time, I will give you everything that I can. So let's just start off with some stats, right? Did you know that 43% of all adults suffer stress-related adverse health issues? So nearly half of all adults suffer stress-related issues, right? 75 to 90% of all visits to primary care physicians are stress-related. So 75 to 90% of all trips to the doctors and, to physicians are stress-related. Stress is linked to all major causes of death, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, lung ailments, accidents, and suicide, right? Now, even further than the health issues, right, an estimated 1 million workers are absent from work each day due to stress-related complaints. It's probably more than that, right, across the world. Stress is responsible for more than 25 billion work days lost annually due to absenteeism. Stress directly impacts not just your productivity, not just your health, but global productivity and global health, right? If we learn how to control our stress and anxiety, the whole world changes, right? The whole world shifts into a different state of consciousness when we learn how to deal with our stress and anxiety. So this is important stuff. And these are some crazy stats, right? Stress is really linked to so many of our problems, stress and, subsequently anxiety as well, right? Even if you don't identify as someone who has anxiety, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's, very similar stuff. So you're still so stressed and anxious because you don't know what you're doing when you're trying to overcome your stress and anxiety. Again, you've probably tried a bunch of things, but you just don't know what you're doing, right? And that's why you're still stressed and anxious, right? You haven't learned to control the thoughts in your mind, and that means you're constantly sending negative, destructive, stressful thoughts, which are essentially signals and energy to your body. So let's get into it now. I'm going to start talking about some things that are a little bit more technical here around what's actually going on with your anxiety and your thoughts and all the rest of it, right? If you can't control your thoughts and you constantly have negative, anxious, stressed out, worried, fearful thoughts, then you send those signals to your body, because thoughts are just electrochemical signals. And so when you think things, it gets sent through your whole body. And I'll explain that. In this class, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to be doing to master your mindset, transform your anxiety, and shift your consciousness once and for all. It's not supplements, medication, therapy, wearable technology, or any other external bullshit. And I put LOL in there because someone told me the other day that they were using some wearable technology to deal with their anxiety. It's like, I'm going to put some kind of thing in my ear and that's going to reset my vagus nerve. Like, if you believe that shit, you're doomed. it just won't work, right? Anxiety is an internal problem, so it needs an internal solution. Even if that wearable thing did work temporarily, because I'm a believer that technology is good and it could work temporarily, just like medication works temporarily, just like therapy works temporarily, just like breath work works temporarily, right? You can have temporary relief from these things. But if you want to actually transform your anxiety once and for all, anxiety is a deeper internal issue and it needs a deeper internal solution, okay? Just a quick fix is not going to work. So the state of your nervous system, your thoughts, and your beliefs will dictate what you experience. If you live in survival mode, everything will always feel like you are pushing shit uphill. You won't be able to think properly, you'll always feel foggy, and you'll barely be able to see past the current day or week because you'll be so focused on just surviving. I just need to survive this day. I just need to survive this week, right? And if you live in that survival state, your creative thinking is fucked, and you can't think creatively, and you can't dream, you can't set goals, you can't imagine a better future for yourself, right? And you're never going to be able to embody your true divine spiritual self if you are constantly living in survival, right? And everyone lives in survival. Like, you saw the stress related things, the stats that I shared to you before, like half of the world, if not more, is living in this stressed out survival state. Right? When you finally manage to break out of survival mode, you'll be able to start living as your true self, and you'll realize you're always safe and you're always supported, right? And that belief system will transform your life. So let me just reiterate that. When you finally manage to break out of survival mode, and you can really start to live with a belief system that says, I'm safe and I'm supported. And when you have that belief system, I am safe, I am supported, you have some freedom and some liberation to live as your true self. Right? You start to believe that you can do anything because you understand you've got the full power of the divine spirit behind you and within you. So I'm talking about some spiritual concepts right now, but fun fact, you are divine consciousness, right? You just think about how you're even alive and what is this reality that we experience. It's a miracle, right? There's really nothing that you can't explain it. No one's ever explained it. It's just divine. It's just a miracle. You are part of that. You are divine consciousness. You have a consciousness and you're experiencing life and reality. You are a divine being experiencing divine consciousness and a divine reality. And your nervous system is what determines your level of consciousness. Your nervous system is really what determines your level of consciousness. Your nervous system is literally electric. Therefore, you are electric. Just before, you heard me say that your thoughts are electrochemical signals. Your thoughts are electrochemical signals, and your thoughts send those signals through your body, through your nervous system. Right? The same way that a wire sends electricity from A to B, your nervous system sends electricity through your mind and your body. It's like your own personal energy conductor. Now, if you just want a quick visual of this, imagine your brain and your spine, right? You know, you go to the doctors, you see the brain and the spine, right? Your brain and your spine is essentially what makes up the highway of your nervous system, right? Your nervous system is comprised of your brain and your spine, and it comes out through your body, right? But the highway is essentially the brain and the spine, the nervous system, right? So the state of your nervous system and the way you are wired determines your energy and your consciousness, right? And I'm not the only one talking about this either, right? So, you know, there's a lot of people who have been talking about this and sharing this. You've got Mel Robbins here. She's an author. I recently wrote a book called The Let Them Theory. She's big on this stuff. You know, you got Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's more into the meditation, spirituality, and consciousness. You got Tony Robbins, who's like an absolute beast in personal development. And then you've got another guy called Naval Ravikant here as well, who also talks about this stuff. He's more of a business owner and investor, but he's a very smart guy, right? These people are all talking about this. It's not new what I'm talking about, or it actually kind of is a little bit new in the sense that we've only recently discovered, you know, quantum mechanics and those kinds of things. But these people who are all talking about the exact same things that I'm talking about now. What I'm about to share with you is the exact same method that we have used to help over 250 business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs transform anxiety by shifting their consciousness. So it's time to lock the fuck in. We're about to get into it, right? So lock in, present, focus, here and now. I'm going to share with you the exact same methods, right? This method has helped Ryan, a lawyer from Melbourne, overcome his anxiety by building self-confidence and discipline. You can actually just read his review here. It says, before working with Josh, I felt a lot of anxiety and self-doubt that really held me back from enjoying my day-to-day and being confident to go after what I wanted. Working with Josh has helped me overcome this to now feel confident and purposeful. I rarely have any feelings of anxiety now, and if I do, I have the tools to manage it. Josh's support and guidance has helped me to become more disciplined, open, and self-aware. Helped Antoinette, a sales director from Sydney, to reduce her overwhelm and build a strong spiritual practice that has improved her overall mental well-being. You can see Antoinette worked with her back in 2021. She said, absolutely life-changing experience with Josh. I worked with Josh in 2021 during the COVID bubble. Feeling overwhelmed with a lack of direction, Josh's authentic approach and deep understanding of meditation techniques provided the foundation for a spiritual practice that I continue and forms my foundation for how I do life. Highly recommend Josh for anyone looking to improve their mental well-being and develop a consistent meditation practice. 5 stars without a doubt. Just quickly on this, right? She's obviously talking about meditation here, and I'm a meditation teacher. Okay. Now, one of the problems that people have with meditation is that they've tried the apps, they've tried Calm, they've tried Headspace, they've tried guided meditations, they've done meditations on YouTube, right? And so they've tried all of those things, but it hasn't worked. It's because you haven't really learned how to meditate properly, right? So meditation works. It's absolutely a game changer if you know how to do it properly. And you often don't learn how to do it properly when you don't have proper guidance. So if you just try the Calm, the Headspace, all these apps, so many people I talk to, they come and say, I've tried those apps and it just didn't work, right? You need to understand the deeper mechanics behind meditation. And that's why, Antoinette's shared here, right? Josh's authentic approach and deep understanding of meditation techniques provided the foundation for a spiritual practice, yada, 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 right? So you've got to learn how to do it properly. If you tried it before, don't let that dishearten you, because you need some direct, proper guidance. And when you get that, the penny will drop and you'll be like, oh my God. All right. So we also helped Callum, an entrepreneur from the Sunshine Coast, to ease his stress and anxiety and find more purpose in his life. He said, Josh's program was something I wish I had found years ago. He guided me through step by step on how to expose the triggers of anxiety. Josh was like a textbook full of answers that I needed. Highly recommended for anyone looking to ease the stresses of anxiety, reach out. Cool. All right. So here's what we're going to cover, right? We're going to cover the mind-body connection. We're going to cover the mind-body loop. We're going to look at what are thoughts. I bet you've never even asked that question. What are thoughts, right? So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at how to find freedom from anxiety. I'm going to introduce you to my consciousness shifting method. So make sure you stick around for that, right? That is going to be something that just walks you through the exact step-by-step system that we use. And finally, I'm going to share with you our world-class anxiety to alignment program. And yes, you can join it if you want. I'll share with you some more details about that at the end, after I have explained everything for you first, so that you have clarity about how this all works. So let's start with the mind-body connection, right? What's actually going on with your anxiety? Right now, you are identifying with stress and anxiety, and that's why it continues to be such a big part of your life. You're saying things like, my stress, my anxiety, I am anxious, I am stressed. And when you have stress and anxiety as a part of your identity, it will be very hard to overcome. Your thoughts and beliefs create your physical experience. Right? And I'm going to talk about this in a second. So if you believe I am stressed, I have anxiety, or I will never get better, then what do you think is going to happen? Right? Let's go a little bit deeper here. There's actually a field of scientific study. You can go and look it up if you want. It's called psychoneuroimmunology, which studies how thoughts and emotions influence the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the immune system, right? So, all those stats I shared with you before about how stress, really impacts your health, right? Your thoughts, your emotions, your stresses impact the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the immune system. They have found that your thoughts create chemical signals, right? Neurotransmitters and hormones that affect your body's physical state. Your thoughts create chemical signals, neurotransmitters and hormones that affect your body's physical state. Your thoughts literally create hormones, okay? Your central nervous system is composed of your brain and your spine, as I mentioned before. So your brain literally sends these thought signals down into your body through your nervous system. And this is what happens with the mind-body loop. Step one is you have thoughts, right? You have this cognitive process. Basically, your senses, your seeing, feeling, touching, hearing, smelling, your senses perceive the experiences that you have externally. So you see things, you hear things, you touch things. Your brain will perceive or interpret those experiences and create some meaning about them, right? This is dangerous, or this is exciting, okay? And then you have a thought. This is dangerous. This is exciting. So you're seeing the world, and then you're having a thought about what's happening in the world, right? And your thoughts will release neurotransmitters. These are chemicals and hormones, essentially. So your internal thoughts trigger the release of certain chemicals like cortisol, adrenaline, dopamine, or serotonin, right? Now, positive, good thoughts equal serotonin and dopamine, right? So if you think good, happy thoughts, you feel good, happy feelings. You go into a calm and happy state. But if you have negative thoughts or bad thoughts, that releases cortisol or adrenaline, stress and anxiety. If you have fearful thoughts, what if this, what if that, I'll never get better, oh my God, my anxiety, right? Negative, bad thoughts, it sends signal to the body, releases those chemicals and hormones in the body, stress, cortisol, adrenaline, and then your neurotransmitters, your chemicals, your hormones activate your nervous system through what's known as neurophysiology. So the chemicals running through your nervous system impact your physiological experience. If you think good thoughts, then you experience good feelings. If you think bad thoughts, then you experience bad feelings. And you can just prove this through your own logical self-examination. When you start to think some good thoughts, you feel good. If you start thinking bad thoughts, you feel bad, right? So it's not like any woo-woo shit. You can just test it out for yourself, right? If you start thinking about how much you love your partner, you feel good. If you start thinking about, if you start, thinking about how much you love your partner, but then you start feeling ashamed because maybe you did something wrong, and then you start to tell yourself these bad thoughts about how bad you are, you start feeling bad, crazy. And this is how you find yourself in a loop, because you either have bad thoughts that lead to bad feelings, which leads to bad thoughts, which is really what people have with anxiety, right? Bad thoughts lead to bad feelings, lead to bad thoughts. So there's this loop between the mind and the body, right? The thoughts create bad feelings, the feelings create bad thoughts, and this nervous system basically just gets hijacked into this, anxious state. Or you break free from that anxious loop and create a positive loop where good thoughts lead to good feelings, which lead to good thoughts, right? And this kind of brings us to this question. What are thoughts, right? What even are thoughts? At their core, thoughts are electrochemical signals in the brain, which I've already mentioned. However, we can view thoughts from different perspectives, and this will determine what they mean to us. For example, here are a few different ways of looking at your thoughts. Right? Now, these are 3 ways that you can look at your thoughts that are really going to just blow your mind, right? Again, the foundation of thoughts are electrochemical signals. However, if you look at them from these different perspectives, you can really start to get a grasp of, what's actually going on here. So neurologically, thoughts are neurons firing in specific patterns in your brain. So they're just kind of like electrical signals firing in specific patterns in your brain. And dominant thoughts, so if you are constantly thinking about how fucked your life is, right? And that's a dominant thought, or you're constantly thinking, I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough, I'm always anxious, this is going to be with me forever. That's a dominant thought pattern that you currently have, creates a neural pathway through a process called neuroplasticity, and that makes them habitual. So if you ever heard anyone say, I'm stuck in a rut, you are literally stuck in a neural rut. If you have these dominant thought patterns, it creates dominant pathways, and it's literally like, water moving through sand. It will go in the water will go in the path of least resistance. So if there's already a path or a river, the water will continue to go down the river. This is what's happening in your brain, right? The energy continues to go down the path that's already there. So if you have dominant thoughts in your brain, it's just like the water is just going down that path. The energy, the signals, the thoughts are just going down the path of least resistance. And that's why it becomes habitual. It's just easy for you to think negatively. It's just easy for you to think anxiously because you've done it forever, right? Or since you can remember. And so it's easy. It's the path of least resistance. You have to understand this. Now, from a different perspective, psychologically, thoughts are interpretations of what we experience in life. So when you can change your thoughts, you change the perception of what you experience, right? So one way to understand this is like, just as an example, if you put a poor man and a rich man next to each other, right, and you give them $100, the poor man is going to probably just go and spend that money on, survival needs like getting some food, and the rich man is probably going to think about it differently because he's probably under the assumption that he already has all of his needs met, and so he'll go and use it differently, right? But even still, let's just say you get a rich man and a poor man, you give them both $100. And let's just say they're both starting from scratch, right? They're going to both use that differently, right? The poor man with his poor man consciousness will do poor man things with his $100, whereas the rich man with his rich man consciousness will do, he'll take care of his survival needs, but then he'll probably, take half of it and put it in the savings or buy himself some nice clothes to get a job or something like that, right? You get the point. The psychology is also important, right? And that's our interpretation of what it means to have experiences in life, okay? So if someone gives you $100, 2 people, it might mean different things. Spiritually, and this is my favorite, this is hands down my favorite. And I think, one of the reasons why I am able to help so many people transform their anxiety is because when you look at thoughts from a spiritual perspective, thoughts can be observed as separate to the self. So we can actually start to prove that your thoughts are not who you are. You are not your thoughts. You don't need to believe your thoughts. You don't need to attach to all of your thoughts. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean you need to say that this is my thought. You can just observe the thought, right? And you can observe it and whatever you observe must be separate to you because you are the observer and there is something that is being observed. So if you can observe your own thoughts, if you can learn to do that, you realize that I am not the thought because I am the observer and the thought is the thing being observed. Right? You realize that you are the consciousness behind the thoughts. When you get to this stage, you can just have thoughts and it doesn't need to affect you really at all because you realize I'm not even the thought in the first place. I don't even need to identify with the thought. And that is when you start to really unlock freedom. Okay, and that's what I'm interested in. So the gold standard for transforming anxiety and mastering your mindset can actually be found in all three of those examples, right? Neurologically, psychologically, and spiritually, right? And there's many other ways that you can look at thoughts, but I thought those are three that are very helpful to consider, given the nature of this masterclass here. But if we primarily focus on the spiritual idea that we are not our thoughts, what we can do is we can create a blank canvas in our mind. And with that blank canvas, we can start to work on changing our neurology and changing our psychology. So if we go to this blank canvas state, we can start to actually change our psychology and we can start to change our neurology. We can start to make new neural pathways in our mind and make the experiences or the things that we have in our life mean different things. We can change our psychology and we can change our neurology. And we can do this very easily when we have a blank canvas, right? Because right now you've got your life is like, it's like probably a really messy book, right? And you've got all these stories, and it's just a bit of a mess. All the things that have happened for you until now, right? I'm not saying it's a mess. Maybe it's not a mess, but like there's some shit that's happened, right? And what you've got to do is you've got to become present and read the current page that you are on, the one page that you are on right now. The future hasn't been written yet, right? But you can write the future. But you need to start with where you are right here, right now. Okay? On the page that you're on today, in this moment, you can start to write a new story. You can start to change the neural pathways. And this is when you can really transform anxiety by shifting into a different state of consciousness. So our gold standard method for mastering your mind is this, the consciousness shifting method. Step one, right? Step one is to regulate your nervous system. And when you regulate your nervous system, you will develop mind-body balance, which will help you reduce the stress and anxiety fast, okay? From there, we reprogram your subconscious mind. And this is when you can start to easily change negative beliefs into positive ones. And finally, we learn to master our emotions, right? And this helps us to find inner peace, contentment, and happiness, okay? And so it's a three-part process, and it's also kind of like a bit of a circle. As you can see, it's kind of like a triangle, but it's kind of like a circle because this all feeds back into itself, and it's like a spiral where you just end up in an upwards loop, right? Or an upward spiral. So right now, you might be in a downward spiral, or you might be perceiving that you might enter into a downward spiral soon, or you're definitely in a downward spiral, right? What we want to do is we want to send you on an upward spiral, right? And this is what we do that by shifting your consciousness using the consciousness shifting method. We take you from that downward spiral and we send you on an upward spiral, okay? And this is how we do it, this three-step process. Regulate the nervous system, reprogram the mind, master your emotions. And when you do that, you create mind, body, spirit alignment, and you become a conscious creator. You become the conscious creator of your reality, and you can write a new story. And really, you don't just transform your anxiety, but you realize that there are actually limitless possibilities for you, right? You can achieve anything that you want. You can have all the success that you want, all the freedom that you want. You can create your life exactly how you want it when you really understand this stuff, okay? It's phenomenal. It's really incredible stuff. So here's how it works, right? Consciousness shifting gold standards. GS1, you have got to learn to regulate your nervous system by controlling your thoughts and shifting your consciousness towards the person you want to become. GS2, you have got to consciously work on reprogramming your subconscious thought patterns using the concept of neuroplasticity. You can change your brain, right? And GS3, you've got to learn to control your emotions instead of reacting to them. You can do this by changing the meaning you assign to your emotions. So you change the thoughts, right? Because let me give you an example. Most people think anxiety is bad. What if you change your thought process to anxiety is trying to show me where I'm out of alignment in life, right? Anxiety is not bad. It's a normal thing to experience, but it's what you think about anxiety and about yourself that makes it a problem. And I'm just going to give you a personal example here. I used to really be in a strong state of resistance to my mind. I used to be scared of my mind, and I used to really have fear around anxiety because, we've had issues in our family, mental health issues and stuff like that, addictions, alcoholism. And I used to be scared that I would go down that path, and that made me very anxious. Okay. And when I looked at my anxiety as like this scary thing that I was always in resistance to, then it was a scary thing and I always wanted to avoid it. But when I changed my perspective, or when I shifted my consciousness and I started to look at it from a different perspective, and I started to say, what if this anxiety is just showing me where I'm out of alignment? What if this anxiety is just showing me where I'm not in alignment with my true self? Like there's a part of me that's deeper, that's wanting to come out. I've got more potential that's wanting to be realized. And the anxiety is just trying to show me where I'm not in alignment, right? So if I was drinking, I would feel anxious. If I was smoking, I would feel anxious. If I was doing shit that I knew I shouldn't be doing, I would feel anxious. And it wasn't the anxiety, right, that was the problem. It was the things that I was doing, right? If I was in relationships, hiding things or not being honest, trying to, just keep everyone else happy, but never, saying what I actually wanted to say, never being who I actually wanted to be, I would feel anxious. Again, it's not the anxiety that's the problem. It's the fact that I was out of alignment with myself. And when I finally learned how to approach my anxiety with the right perspective, it became the biggest teacher, the best thing in my life, because it was showing me where I was out of alignment. And so it helped me to get into alignment. So I can look back at my anxiety and say, I'm glad that I experienced that. It was good that I experienced that. And I still get it from time to time, right? But every time I get it now, I just realize, oh, this is just showing me that something's not right. What do I need to focus on? And I inquire within myself and I go, cool, what's going on? Why am I feeling this? And I change, okay? And life just keeps getting better and better. And now I'm in such a great place that I can actually help others with this stuff as well, which is what I'm really passionate about, is helping others, helping you, which is why I'm making this masterclass. And I trust that you're going to be getting some stuff out of this already. So let's just crack on with it, right? You've got to be intentional. Now, focus for this, because this is a superpower, right? And I'm going to explain exactly how. When you are intentional, at the start of this video, I told you, be intentional. Making the conscious choice to be intentional activates this area of your brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex. So if I move my little thing over here, hopefully you guys can see this. This is the Mind Launch logo, and this is a brain, right? This area up the top here is the prefrontal cortex, right? And this prefrontal cortex part of the brain can hijack your default mode network, right? The default mode network is exactly, that. It's your default mode. It's your automatic responses and the autopilot, which keeps you living in loops, right? It's the subconscious. It's the subconscious mind that just keeps you in loops and habits, repeating the same thing again and again and again. You're just in this default mode, living on autopilot, right? When you set intention and you activate the prefrontal cortex in your brain, when you say, I'm going to do this thing now, you can hack the default mode network with your intention. You are literally activating this part of the brain, which brings you up into a conscious state. When you be intentional and you say, I'm going to do this, it activates a specific part of your brain. It starts to fire a new part of the brain. right? And we said before, the reason why you are just stuck in loops is because you already have these neural pathways and your brain is taking the path of least resistance, just whatever's already there. It's just doing that, right? When you be intentional and you say, I'm going to change, I'm going to consciously change my mind, I'm going to consciously change my thought patterns. That is when you hack the default mode, you hack the subconscious, you hack autopilot, and you get into the driver's seat, right? And you go, I'm now driving my life. I'm now writing the story of my life. Think about this for a second, right? You can achieve anything that you want in your life. If you haven't right now, this could be the thing that shifts you into the belief that you can do it. This struggle or suffering that you may be experiencing right now could be the catalyst for your change. And imagine if this experience that you're having now is actually trying to break you through to a higher level of consciousness where you really understand and believe, and not just that, but you know that you can achieve whatever you want, right? If you want to have a healthy relationship, it's just about being intentional and becoming the person who is capable of that. If you want to have success in your business, right, it's just about activating this prefrontal cortex, turning on your brain and using the power of your mind to create the success, to be intentional, to not just go down the same path that you've always been down, but to switch on and be intentional and create whatever it is that you want in your life, whether it's the relationships, the success, right? Maybe it's just happiness. Like some people I talk to, they say, Josh, I feel like I've already had that in my life. Like, if you're a bit older in your 40s or 50s or something like that, maybe you say, I've already had that in my life and I lost it, right? And so, in most cases, you got it unconsciously. And so that's why you lost it. When you get it consciously, when you get success consciously, you don't lose it, right? When you get it unconsciously, you lose it. When you get it consciously, you don't lose it. So if you're young, awesome, right? You have the choice now, the conscious choice to be intentional and to create exactly the life that you want. If you're a little bit older, it's still all good, right? You're now becoming conscious and you're having an opportunity now. So don't beat yourself up for whatever happened in the past. Again, become present. And from here on out, be intentional, okay? And you can achieve whatever you want. You can have limitless happiness, peace, and success. And I honestly believe that, right? I'm not just saying it. I've personally experienced it and I know it's possible and I've helped lots of people do it before. So, if that's what you want, you can get that. But intention does require conscious effort. Right? Here's the caveat. I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not here to tell you that there's going to be some quick fix that's going to solve everything for you. Intention requires conscious effort. Conscious effort is the price that you pay for creating your reality, for transforming your anxiety, for mastering your mind. Conscious effort is the price that you pay. And if you don't put in the conscious effort to be intentional, you will continue to play out the same default loops you've played out your whole life. For me, this is a matter of life or death, right? For me, it's really that important. You either just continue to play out the default loops and you go through your whole life and you get to the end of your life and you feel like a sack of shit because you didn't, make the most out of life. That's like my biggest fear, right? My biggest fear is to get to the end of my life and just be like, this is fucked. I just fucked up my whole life, right? And the reason why it's a fear is because I've seen so many people do that, right? I'm sure you would know. People who are like that, who just live their whole life unconsciously playing out the same default loops and the same automatic patterns. And they never get their shit together. And it's just sad. It's really sad, right? But you can change, right? You can change, you can break the cycle, and you can do it. I believe in you. You can transform your anxiety, you can master your mindset, you can shift your consciousness, but you need to activate your superpowers of attention, so focus, which is what I've been talking about since the very start of this. So if you're still here, good work. And intention, which is a desire, right? You need to want to be a new version of yourself, and you need to focus your attention on that goal until it's realized. So, final recap. You are a divine and electrical being. Your internal problems need internal solutions. Your thoughts control your physiological experiences. You can master your thoughts by realizing that they're not you, and you have a higher consciousness and awareness that you can shift into with intention. right? But you do have to be intentional so that you don't keep replaying the automatic default patterns. And when you get this stuff locked in, you activate your superpowers, you become the conscious creator of your reality. This is all you need to overcome and transform your anxiety and master your mindset. You don't need all of the other bullshit. You don't need the medication. You don't need the wearable technology, right? You don't need the supplements. You don't need the nutrition, although that stuff is helpful, right? But this is the one thing this is the big domino that needs to come down, because all of the other, you can do all of the other stuff, but if this big domino doesn't come down, then it's still going to be standing and your anxiety will still persist, right? So don't get me wrong, some of those other things are helpful. You might need to use medication temporarily. You might need to use supplements to get your gut health in check, right? You might need to do nutrition. You might need to do this other stuff. I don't think you need to use wearable technology, right? But maybe that's just my naivety in this early age of technology. But anyway, of AI technology. But anyway, I digress. The point is, this is the number one thing that you need to focus on, your mind. That, that is the truth. This is a mental kind of issue. And it's not just mental, it's obviously also physical, physiological, but it really starts in the mind, right? And so when you get your mind sorted, you can get that mind-body connection a lot healthier, and everything will start to improve from there. And, then you can get everything else sorted. But this is the number one domino that you need to overcome. You need to shift your consciousness. So if you've made it this far, then you're obviously watching for a reason. And I personally believe nothing happens by coincidence. So if you're still here with me in this moment, I really believe nothing happens by coincidence. Our reality is extremely intelligent. And if you've ended up here right now, in this moment, watching this video, then you have an opportunity, right? And opportunities are fleeting. They come and go. I'm sure you know that. You probably got some, missed opportunities in the past. If we don't act on our opportunities, we end up thinking, what if? What if I had done that? What if I had done this? And we often beat ourselves up over our lost chances. And I do not want that to happen to you anymore. So what I've shared with you today is the master key for how you regulate your nervous system, reprogram your mind, and become the conscious creator of your reality. And this is how you go from anxiety to alignment. So here's your opportunity. You can book a strategy session with me below to begin your journey from anxiety to alignment. If this method and my processes and this masterclass has inspired you and given you hope for the future, and you want to go deeper and you want clear guidance and a clear roadmap, then you can book a strategy session with me through the link below this video, and you can begin your journey from anxiety to alignment right now. Right? Over the last 5 years, we have developed the best consciousness shifting program in the world, right? It's a step-by-step roadmap, so you don't have to try and figure it all out on your own or have smoke blown up your ass by doctors, therapists, and psychologists, right? The difference when you work with us is we don't let you get away with self-pity and excuses, right? We hold you to a higher standard, help you develop discipline and self-responsibility, and keep you accountable. It's a holistic human-to-human approach, not dry, clinical bullshit. And I'm just going to be real and transparent with you guys for 1 second, right? I've got clients who often will bring suicidal ideation to me, right? And I do not waver in my approach. Right? I am not going to waver in my approach. I'm going to hold a high standard, and I'm going to call you up into that higher standard. It's actually more common than you would realize for people who come to me with suicidal ideation. So if that's you, just know that I've got you. If it's not you, that's also fine. Not everyone has that going on. But, to be honest, I deal with that. And it's always in a one-on-one setting, right? It's never in the group settings. It's always just in one-on-one settings. And so, yeah, just wanted to make that clear, because this is serious work, right? This is really serious work. And the difference when you work with us is we don't let you get away with, self-pity and excuses. I will encourage you to develop a higher standard for yourself, to take self-responsibility, and I will keep you accountable, because that's what works. And it's holistic. It's human to human. It's not dry. It's not clinical bullshit, right? It's real. And that's the difference. You go to doctors, you go to psychologists, they put you on medication, and oftentimes that medication is actually worse for you, right? And side effects can be suicidal ideation and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I don't want to get too deep and too heavy on you guys, but I just wanted to let you know that that's a reality. And yeah, it is what it is. So here is a page just full of screenshots that I took from people who have left me 5-star Google reviews. And if you want to go and, read these yourself, you can just Google Mind Launch. And you should be able to see my business profile, and you should be able to see the reviews, and you can go and read all of these 5-star reviews for yourself if you want. But this works, right? It obviously works. There's lots of people telling you here that it works. You can go and read their stories for yourself, and when you read them, you'll see that they are, real people and real reviews, right? Yeah, you can see, obviously, if you have a brain, you can read them and you'll see, okay, that's obviously a personal experience that this person's sharing. So anyway, that's that. It works. And why am I so passionate about helping people, right? It's because I used to suffer a lot, and I believe we don't need to suffer as much as we do. I believe we are divine beings, and we have so much creative potential within us. I used to be scared of my own mind and my own mental health, but I figured out how to activate the power of my mind, and my life has got so much better ever since. Okay. And now I just want to help you do the same. My core driver is really just to help people end suffering, to help you guys relieve the suffering, right? And shift into a higher state of consciousness and activate your potential and your success in life, right? That's what I want, because I know that you're capable of that, right? And that's really why I'm so passionate about this, because I've been through this journey myself. I've figured it out. I'm probably one of the most fucked up ones out of all of us, but I've just figured it out, right? And now I just want to help you figure it out as well. And when I say I've figured it out, it's constantly I'm constantly figuring it out as well, right? When you come into the program, you'll see every week with new content. I'm learning new things. I'm sharing that with you guys. I'm talking to my clients. We're uncovering new things. I'm teaching new things. It's a constant evolution and growth and transformation. If you're about that, then this is going to be a good program for you. So here's what you get. One-on-one onboarding call with me to get set up, right? With Josh Holiday. It's weird saying my own name like that, but that's what you get. One-on-one onboarding call with me to get set up. Personalized roadmap, routines, and success scale. So on the first call, I create a personalized roadmap for you. We give you a routine to follow, and we also take measurements for your success, because this is something that I like to measure, right? Now, oftentimes people start off with quite obviously severe issues, and they finish off with, the opposite of that. I do a success scale. So if your anxiety is a 10 out of 10, it's common for people to leave the program with it being a 2 out of 10. Okay. 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, right? 2 out of 10 is kind of more normal. But yeah, you get the point. You go from one end of the spectrum to the other. Our signature 6-week anxiety to alignment program, you get access to that. You get 6 months access to our Mind Launch online school platform. You get weekly live coaching and Q&A sessions with me. We have 3 sessions every week. There's a community forum and a stack of extra resources. The coaching sessions are scattered at different times to accommodate for all different schedules, right? And here's the investment to enroll. If you want private one-on-one mentorship with me, plus the program, it's 250 Australian dollars a week. If you would like group coaching in the program, it's 150 Australian dollars for the week. It's a 6-month program, and if you do pay in full, you can save approximately 10%, right? That's the investment to enroll. And here's how to enroll. Book a strategy session with me below, right? I do strategy sessions with everyone before they come in. I don't let every single person in. As I mentioned at the start of this, I really don't want trolls. I really don't want negative people. I really don't want people who are in a victim mindset. I want people who are proactive. So this strategy session is a call where we can discuss your goals and challenges. We can get to know each other a little bit better, and I'll help you develop a strategy to focus on. Then if you'd like more help, and it seems that you'd be a good fit for the program, we can arrange your enrollment, right? So this strategy session is essential. You must do one of these before joining the program, and it's just a call with me to discuss your goals and challenges. Then if it sounds like a good fit, we can get you enrolled. You can tell me if you'd like to do the one-on-one mentorship or the group program, and we can easily set that up and get you started, right? Now, all you need to do is book a strategy session below and begin your journey from anxiety to alignment by shifting your consciousness. Finally, if not now, when, right? So many people are upset and frustrated at themselves because they miss opportunities. I hear it all the time, right? If not now, when? When are you going to shoot your shot? If you've been struggling with anxiety for months or years, then when are you going to change, right? Do you want to continue for more months, years, just having this anxiety, right? And just constantly being able to not manage your stress properly and constantly repeating the same default patterns over and over again? Do you want that? What's your life going to look like in 5, 10 years if you just keep doing what you're doing now, right? And I say this so empathetically. Like, I don't want you to go through another 5 or 10 years just experiencing the same shit over and over again, right? It's just a choice. It's just a commitment. Once you know everything that I've just shared with you in this video, then all you need to do is make a choice to change, right? And if you want help with that, if you want guidance, a roadmap, a step-by-step system that is proven to help hundreds of people, then I can help. Book a strategy session below. Let's have a chat, and we'll see if we can get you from anxiety to alignment. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.